Hey, good morning. It's Uncle Lou here. Yeah, that's right. It's me, Uncle Lou, live for you on LouTube today. And thanks for watching. I really appreciate it also. And two, all right, today is the official start of college football season. Today is week 0. There's 3 or 4 games coming on TV tonight. I did a preview on those videos yesterday, but I still have a few team previews that I've got to get wrapped up, and I'm going to try to do it this weekend. So there'll be a series of videos posted over the next couple of days, today and tomorrow. I'm going to try to get 3 or 4 out today. I'm going to try to get 3 or 4 out tomorrow and wrap up these previews so that on Monday I can start the normal routine of what I do during the season. Monday will be my first top 10, so I'll have a top 10 list on Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday will all be preview and matchup videos of games coming up next weekend. On Friday, I'll make my Georgia video, and then of course I make videos at different points during the day on Saturdays during the season, reactions to games, things like that. So anyway, you'll see this same intro. I'm not going to re-record this intro for all these preview videos I'm doing this weekend, so you'll see the same intro over and over again over the next, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 videos, and we're going to preview as many teams as I can get done over the next 2 days. Enjoy. The 2018 college football team preview for the Fighting Lane Kiffins, the FAU Owls. You know, I'm not trying to say Lane Kiffin doesn't get any attention or whatever. Obviously, he gets plenty of attention for some of his antics and his tweets and things like that. So it's not like he's ignored or anything like that. But there's a huge storyline out there, and I get it. Central Florida went undefeated last year, so obviously they're going to get a lot of attention for that. But there's a huge storyline out there about how Scott Frost took over a terrible program in Central Florida, which he did, turned him around, which he did, had a great season, which he did. I feel like you don't hear that mentioned a lot about FAU and Lane Kiffin. Maybe I'm just not hearing it. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong places. Now, like I said, you do hear a lot about Lane Kiffin. You hear about his offense, his creativity, sort of some of his weird quirks, and sort of personality traits that he has, but I don't feel like FAU really has been given the same type of credit that Central Florida has. Now, FAU hasn't had an undefeated season and a New Year's Six bowl win like Central Florida has, but I mean, let's just be real here. They were 3-9 in 2016. Last year, they won 11 games, okay? So they were 11-3, 8-0 in conference. So from 3-9 in 2016 to last year, 2017, 11-3, 8-0, undefeated in the conference. Won the Conference USA title. So an amazing turnaround. And I'm no Lane Kiffin fan. I think some of his immaturity and some of just dumb decisions that he's made really is the reason he's at FAU now. It's hard for me to feel sorry for somebody who's had everything handed to him, which Lane Kiffin has, and been unable to capitalize on it, right? But anyway, something else I've been saying for a while, if he keeps this up at FAU, he's not going to be there very long. College programs want to win, and they're willing to overlook a lot of stuff to bring a coach in who can do that. If you don't believe me, Exhibit A, Urban Meyer still has a job at Ohio State. Why? Because he wins. Anyway, I've said it won't surprise me at all to see Lane Kiffin at LSU in 2019. I don't think Ed Orgeron survived a year, but anyway, that's not the point of this video. This is a preview of FAU. Now, Kiffin's still there. 2 new coordinators, though. So we'll see what impact, if at all, that has. They're still the favorite this year for obvious reasons in Conference USA. They're going to have an explosive offense again. Excuse me. Yeah, Lane Kiffin, like I said, not one to play by the rules, not one that likes to draw within the lines, has gone out and hired the youngest offensive coordinator in modern day history. When it comes to Division I football. You guys remember Charlie Weiss? Huh? You remember him? Yeah, you remember Charlie Weiss. Was it? Didn't he remember he used to sit on the cooler? Did he? Big dude there. Went out and hired his son. He's 25 now. He's 24 when Lane Kiffin hired him offensive coordinator at FAU. So Charlie Weiss Jr. comes in, the new offensive coordinator for Lane Kiffin in FAU this year. They averaged 40.6 per game last year, which was 8th in the nation. So we'll see. I have a feeling the change in offensive coordinators isn't going to make that big of a deal. Sort of like at Alabama, right? No matter what defensive coordinator Alabama has, Nick Saban is going to get credit for the defense. And I feel the same way with a Lane Kiffin coach team. I feel like no matter who the offensive coordinator is, Lane Kiffin's going to get a lot of the credit for that. But anyway, let's look at what you have. Running back, Devin Singletary. This guy's now you want to talk about a super dark horse for the Heisman? Listen to this. Last year, 1,920 yards rushing, 32 touchdowns in one season. 32. That's almost 3 per game for the course of the entire season. 80 yards short of 2,000. This guy is a dark horse for the Heisman. Odds of him winning it, not good for obvious reasons. But come on, almost $2,000 in yards and 32 touchdowns, unreal. He's back. Quarterback. You bring in that former you lost your quarterback, but you got this guy from Florida State, DeAndre Johnson. You bring him in. Actually, he was there a little bit last year. Yeah, he was there last year. Not really an injury. Had a bladder issue, medical issue, really is what it was. He only played, I think, in one game. Redshirt senior Chris Robinson. And another guy from, is it Oklahoma or Oklahoma State? Oklahoma, I think, kicked off the team. You bring him in too. So we'll see what happens there with the quarterback situation. Wide receivers, you got this guy, Willie Wright, all freshman team last year. And you also bring in a West Virginia transfer, Javon, is it Devontae? Anyway, all the millions of FAU fans watching will know who I'm talking about. Offensive line could be an issue. You only have 2 starters coming back there on the offensive line. But listen, like I said, take my personal opinions of Lane Kiffin as a person out of it. I don't doubt a Lane Kiffin offense. I just don't. I have confidence in Lane Kiffin that they're going to look at this list of quarterbacks here. They're going to find a guy that can run that offense. These wide receivers are going to step up, I have no doubt. And Singletary is an absolute monster toting the rock. I can't get over this 2,000 yards and 32 touchdowns. 32 touchdowns is unreal for a running back, especially in today's college football where you're seeing teams sling it around. Defense. This caught me by surprise here. They were second in the nation last year with 20 interceptions on defense. Really good. Your best linebacker is back. He led the team in tackles last year. You got a safety, Jalen Young, had 7 interceptions last year. He's back. And the defensive line will be one of the best in Conference USA. So, you think Lane Kiffin, you think offense, and I do think the offense will be good. This defense ain't no joke either. So FAU, a pretty good team. Can they be this year's UCF? I don't know about that. A lot of people have Boise State pegged to be this year's UCF, which really last year's UCF was 10 years ago Boise State. You remember when Boise State was busy beating teams like Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl and things like that. Of course, Chris Peterson out on the West Coast now at UW. But anyway, I digress again. Let's go through the schedule here and see if they can go undefeated and beat a pretty good team. Well, week 1, you play at Oklahoma. Well, that's a loss. No, I talked about this. I can't remember if this was on video or a live stream the other day, but I talked about this game. This is going to be an interesting game to watch here, Oklahoma. Let's be real. Oklahoma's a pretty good team, right? But they got a new quarterback, this Kyler Murray, this baseball player that they're going to make play quarterback there, even though he's already signed his baseball contract. They got a beast at the running back position, too, in Rodney Anderson. Elite skill players, but they ain't got no defense. I mean, this is nothing new. Doesn't matter who they recruit, who they sign. Doesn't matter what schemes they run. Doesn't matter. All you need to know about Oklahoma's defense is that they still got Mike Stoops. Lane Kiffin going to score some points on that defense. Believe that. Lane Kiffin will put up some points on this defense. It's at Oklahoma, though. It's not going to be enough. Oklahoma's offense, I don't think, is going to be as elite as it was last year, especially the first half of the season as Kyler Murray's kind of getting his feet underneath him, that kind of thing. I just can't see FSU or FAU showing up in Norman and pulling off the upset. I can't see FSU doing it either. Let's be real. But FAU may have a better chance of doing it than FSU. But I can't see them. So I got to start FAU off with a loss. But this is a game, if you just glance through the schedule of week 1 games, you see FAU at Oklahoma and you just keep on going. But when you think about it, oh, wait a minute, Lane Kiffin scored all these points last year, got this running back, put up 2,000 yards and 32 touchdowns, elite wide receivers. This is a game worth keeping an eye on. I wish I would have checked so I could have told y'all what time this game is coming on. I hope this is a noon game. I know for a fact there's not very many good games coming on at noon the first week of the season. A lot of good games coming on at 3:30, and then a good game or two coming on at night. But I hope this is a game at noon, and if it is, I'll be able to watch a good bit of it. Week 2 and week 3, you come home, play Air Force and Bethune-Cookman. Win. You'll win both of those games. Not knocking Air Force. Hats off to all the Service Academy teams. I did a preview on Army and Navy. Nothing but respect for these people who are choosing to play college football for a military college. No future in the NFL. Most likely going overseas when they graduate for the military. So hats off to those guys. But Air Force just doesn't have what it takes here. And neither does Bethune-Cookman. So you're sitting at 2-1. Now here's the game here, ain't it? At UCF. Of course, I've already done a UCF preview. If you've seen it, you know which way I'm leaning here. But this is going to be a great game. I'm as excited about FAU-UCF as I am about almost any other game in college football this year. And I'm being dead serious. Now, I could probably think of 5, 10, 15 games that excite me more. But the point is, this is this is going to be a good game here. How good is UCF post Scott Frost? Can Lane Kiffin and FAU go on the road, not much of a road trip, and beat the defending national champions, Central Florida? What a game that'll be. I picked Central Florida to win, though. You're sitting at 2-2. You go on the road, so back-to-back road games. You take a loss to Central Florida on the road at Middle Tennessee State, win. They're better. They're better than Tennessee, but they're not. They can't beat you. You'll get a win. Old Dominion, win. Take you into your bye week. So you're sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4-2, heading into your bye week. Come out of your bye week, you got to play at Marshall. I'm trying to treat FAU the same way I treat Power 5 teams. And most teams tend to lose one game a year that you don't see coming. For you guys, I have it as the Marshall game. I have a feeling you go on the road coming out of your bye week and take an L to Marshall. I will admit that I'm not very confident in that pick. But it's kind of boring just to say, well, FAU is going to win all the games you think they're going to win, and they're going to lose all the games you think they're going to lose. So you got to switch it up a little. Almost every single team, like I love to mention all the time, loses a game you don't expect them to lose. I've been through the list before, but Clemson lost to Syracuse, Ohio State lost to Iowa, Oklahoma lost to Iowa State, Georgia lost to Alabama. So the better team doesn't always win. I have you taking a loss on the road at Marshall. Come back home to face Louisiana Tech. Not a pushover. Almost beat South Carolina last year. Last-second field goal by South Carolina to pull that out. Miracle! Of course, South Carolina not that good. You'll handle Louisiana Tech, gave you the win. On the road at FIU, this is the Florida school that sort of is lost in the shuffle right now, isn't it? Everybody loves to talk about South Florida, Central Florida, Lane Kiffin and FAU. And then, of course, you got the 3 big boys, Miami, Florida State, Florida. No one talks about FIU. No one will talk about them this week either. You'll get a big win. Back home, Western Kentucky, win. They were okay a couple of years ago. We're putting up a lot of points. No, you'll beat them. They can't hang with you. You get them at home, you'll win that game. At North Texas, not in your same league. North Texas is a pretty good team for the classification that they're in. They can't hang with Lane Kiffin. You get a win on the road at North Texas, and then you end the season with one of the worst teams in America of any classification, Charlotte, another win. So I have you, 2 losses? 3 losses. So 9-3. I could see you going 10-2, though. I don't think you're beating Oklahoma, but I can see you maybe getting the win against Central Florida if they take a bigger step back than I think without Scott Frost. Not sure that's going to happen, though. Maybe Marshall. So if you're looking to go 10-2 instead of 9-3, you get a bye week before Marshall. That helps you there, extra week to prepare. Maybe you win that game instead of lose it and go 10-2. But I got to go with what I have here, and that's 9-3. So that's it. That's an FAU preview. which is amazing. Let me see. I got it written down. Who wanted FAU? Which one of you? Hold on. Sorry. I make all my video notes in here. So, okay, here we go. Wade P. That was for you, sir. Hope you enjoyed it. FAU, the Fighting Lane Kiffins, staring down the barrel of a 9-3 season. Have a great morning.